distancing being reduced to 1 metre for 2 metres.
In the last few moments, the Association of Secondary Teachers of Ireland said it notes the advice from public health officials. It says a lot of work needs to be done to determine how many secondary school students can be taught at the same time. A total of 31 coronavirus cases linked to travel were confirmed here in June. There have also been 6 new cases in the last 24 hours, and a further 3 people with COVID-19 have died in the Republic. The Chief Medical Officer has repeated the advice of the National Public Health Emergency Team that people should avoid non-essential travel. It comes after Ryanair resumed services to popular holiday spots today, with plans for 1,000 flights per day in Europe this month. Despite concerns from health officials about international travel, it hasn't stopped these holidaymakers at Dublin Airport.
The balance of trying to get people back to school in the interest of...
Apologies, that's the incorrect clip. A man has appeared in court charged with the murder of his wife Jean Eagers. William Eagers is also accused of producing a samurai sword during an alleged dispute at their home at Willowood Grove in Hartstown in Dublin. The judge granted legal aid after hearing Mr Eagers is a part-time taxi driver who's in receipt of the COVID-19 payment. He was remanded in custody for a week, and the judge directed that he receive whatever medical attention he requires. And that's your news for now. We'll have more at 8.
News Talk Weather.
Thanks to the AA. For great value home insurance, go online to the aa.ie.
Heavy, slow-moving showers tonight, mixed with longer spells of rain, especially over Leinster and Munster. The rain, though, will clear eastwards overnight, with the lowest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Hello there, you're very welcome along to Wednesday evening's Off the Ball. Later on we will chat to Chairman of the Boards himself, Eamonn Coghlan, about his remarkable sporting career and his political career as well. Munster fans, I'm sure you're enjoying the Super Rugby at the moment. You'll have noticed a familiar face in the Hurricanes coaching box. That is former Munster player and former Munster attack coach as well, Jason Holland. Spent 10 years in Cork. This is now his first season as Hurricanes head coach. We will talk to him on Wednesday Night Rugby. And then on the football show, Andy Mitten with us. Manchester United fans are daring to hope things may actually be improving once again. So we'll see what Andy says about things. Plus, Shamrock Rovers chairman Jonathan Roach is going to join us. Several League of Ireland clubs, not least David Rowe of Sligo Rovers on the show last night. Not happy with Shamrock Rovers and the way they've conducted business over the last few days. So Shamrock Rovers are coming on to respond. We'll talk to their chairman Jonathan Roach around 9:30 or so. 53106 is the text number. We are at Off the Ball on Twitter. Richie McCormack, good evening to you.
How are you, Joe? You well?
Very well. Apologies, we've had a fair degree of rejigging this evening. We're trying to link up with Jason Holland, who is in Wellington, and it's very early in the morning over there, obviously. So we were going to speak to him at 7:30 and then do Eamonn Coghlan after 8. We are now jigging things around, so Jason Holland will be after 8 o'clock. Eamonn Coghlan will be this hour. The net result is we have about 8 minutes here to get through the newsround before we speak to Eamonn Coghlan. So everybody knows Eamonn Coghlan. Richie's just walked off, radio listeners. Everyone knows Eamonn Coughlan's had a ridiculous sporting career, and I knew that as well. But then it's only when you revisit it and get the stats again that you just fully realise how ridiculous it was. So he goes to Villanova as a 19-year-old. He then begins just this stunning indoor career, hence the chairman of the board's nickname. He won the Wanamaker Mile at Madison Square Garden 7 times. He, in 1983, was the first person to break 3 minutes 50 for the indoor mile. That record stood for 14 years. So between 74 and 87, so across 13 years, 70 indoor races at 1,500 metres or a mile. Of the 70, he won 52 of them, which is just a bit mad. 1983 world champion outdoor in Helsinki in the 5,000 metres, and disappointingly, given his talent and his ambition, 2 fourth place finishes in the Olympic Games of 76 and 80, and then he missed 84 in LA due to injury. This was a year after he'd won the World Championships. So the Olympic thing is there. It hangs over it a bit given his talent, because he would say himself he had the talent not just to win a medal but to win gold. And just to top things off though, 1994, Richie, 1994, at the age of 41 years old, at the Harvard track in Boston, he is the first person over the age of 40 to break the 4-minute mile. That was his sign-off, which is not a bad one. So, we all knew it's an amazing career, and then you re-jog your memory, no pun intended, and it's doubly amazing.
Yeah, like that generation of athletes, I don't think gets their due. Like that, I vividly remember seeing that Helsinki finish, that 200-meter kick, being replayed over and over again down through the years, and I don't think we appreciate how good Coghlan was, and like you could throw the likes of Frank O'Mara into that cache as well, of runners who were fantastic and performing on a genuinely an elite level. Alongside elite runners, some of whom, let's be honest, mightn't have been the cleanest at the time, and were doing brilliantly. And I think it's about time that people came around to getting the dues that Eamonn Coghlan is. One of the first local sports people as well. I can remember being famous. I remember my dad pointing out that on his route to work pretty much every morning, he used to have to drive to Ballyfermot. That down around the Carpenter's Town direction, he would see Coghlan out running the roads pretty much every morning. So he's a man who never gave it up.
Well, he's on the way very shortly. So to that end, let's kick off the news round. What's going on?
The GPA has responded to what is called the negative discourse surrounding inter-county players. Under the GAA's roadmap, inter-county training, as we know, is not permitted until September 14th. Earlier this week, Offaly chairman Michael Coghlan told this very show that many counties had already broken that deadline. The GPA haven't denied that's the case, but rather they've asked that players be insured if they are training with their counties. They also want players released to their counties once they're out of respective club championships. Derry football manager Rory Gallagher says provincial councils can help end the club versus country round. He told this morning's OTBAM that he's learned from his mistakes of the past.
It's my 9th year going into being involved with inter-county teams, and I've made mistakes with players, with the club and county situation, so I have, and I will say, I find county players want to be at club training when club training's on, and they as much as anything want clarity, and they would love it to come in very clear guidance from Croke Park, and if not, they want it from the county management. The county players playing for the clubs, they do not want to be compromised. They don't want to be letting their club team down. And maybe at times, and I go back maybe in some type periods would involve with Donegal, we compromise the players, and that's very unfair in a player. And I think what Derry have done is very, very clear cut. And even since Stephen Barker's interview, they've brought the county final forward a week. So you've got to look at it realistically. In a normal situation, we'd be playing a first round of the championship match, say on the 20th of May. We would have a 13-day rule. This year, the Derry County final is on the 3rd of October, as far as I know. We won't be playing championship to a minimum 28 days later. That's 4 weeks of exclusive period where we have uninterrupted access to the players. Bear in mind, most of the teams will be out of the championship a week, 2-3 weeks prior to that. You're going to have the bulk of your squad. It's actually very workable, and I personally have no issue with it.
We'll play you more of that interview later on in the next hour. Just looking at that GPA statement, it's the first I've seen of it, Richie. I was tied up doing other stuff. But there is something broken with the whole system when the GAA themselves come out and say there'll be no sanctions for the rule breaking, and then the GPA come out and don't actually say to their own members, don't break the rules. Do not break the rules here. It's fair enough. I have no problem with them calling on changing the September 14th rule, but they've basically they haven't come out to say don't break the rules. They've said, by the way, if there is training happening though, which we know is against the rules, we just want to make sure everyone's insured. Yeah, it's like, what is the point of this rule? Nobody is pretending it's in effect. So on we go. It's strange. There was a huge reaction to Michael Coghlan all week, and it's continuing. I think as people just realise the insanity of the whole setup at the moment. Premier League.
Yeah, 3 matches ongoing into the second half in 3 of them. Arsenal leading Norwich by 2-0. First half goals from Granit Xhaka and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Newcastle are 2-0 up away to Bournemouth. Those goals coming from Dwight Gale and Sean Longstaff. The second after some fine work from Alain Saint-Maximin. Everton went into the break 2-0 up at home to Leicester City thanks to goals from Richarlison and a Gylfi Sigurdsson penalty. Kelechi Iheanacho has just pulled one back for Leicester 6 minutes into the second half. There's an 8:15 start at the London Stadium where West Ham will be hosting Chelsea. A win for Chelsea tonight could see them go as high as third. West Ham's Mark Feely has helped Sligo Rovers to raise €30,000.
Westlife's.
What did I say?
West Ham's.
It's never too late, Joe. Westlife's Mark Feely has helped Sligo Rovers raise €30,000 in a day. He donated $2,500 to their GoFundMe page, set up after it was confirmed the league would resume in truncated form on July 31st. Sligo Treasurer David Rowe told us last night he felt the club were mugged by all sides by the restart proposal, and the FAI board are to review that decision, which still needs their ratification.
Yeah, he was absolutely talking about Shamrock Rovers when he was talking about one of those sides, when he says we were mugged by all sides. So we'll talk to the Rovers, Shamrock Rovers, that is Chairman Jonathan Roach, on the football show. So next story, we were told this would happen and it's happening.
Yeah, Wigan will be given a 12-point deduction after the club was placed into administration. However, when the punishment is implemented, it will depend on where they finish, in the current championship table. If Wigan stay out of the relegation places, which is very much a possibility, the points will be taken off this season's total. But if they go down, they will start the next campaign on -12. Administrator Gerald Krasner has been tasked with finding a buyer for a club whose finances, he says, are in a dire state.
When you sell a football club, I can guarantee we'll get 30 offers this week of interest. When it comes to getting the chequebook out, I need 2. Hopefully I'll get 2, but they all disappear. So what we need is a concerted effort by interested people who have got the welfare to put some money together to come and talk to me at least, with a view to seeing if the club can be sold as a going concern.
Richie, that's our newsround for this evening, especially short this evening. Thanks so much.
No worries, mind yourself, man.
Cheers, that's Richie McCormack. Short ad break. After 8 o'clock Wednesday night rugby, we will go live to Wellington, New Zealand and talk to Jason Holland, who's the head coach of the Hurricanes these days. Up next, we'll chat to Eamonn Coghlan.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
Need a new car or van, but not sure if now is the right time? Ford's Peace of Mind promotion can give you just that.